The holidays are supposed to be a time of joy, warmth, and family. But for so many of us, this time of year can bring a different kind of feeling. For a single mum named Sylvia, this particular Christmas brought inflation, shortened work hours, and the ever-present fear that just wouldn't leave her alone. She was living out the first part of John 16:33, where Jesus says, "In this world you will have trouble," but she held on, with everything she had, to the second part of that promise. "But take heart, I have overcome the world." Imagine her small, cold apartment. The only sound is the quiet hum of a tiny space heater, bravely fighting a losing battle against the December chill. Sylvia is folding laundry, the clothes so small they fit in the palm of her hand. Her two young children, Luna and Matteo, are drawing pictures of Christmas trees, their innocent world a stark contrast to the stack of bills on the counter. Right on top is the electric bill, stamped with a bright red, terrifying final notice. In that quiet moment, Sylvia pulls her thin coat a little tighter and whispers a prayer into the cold air. "Lord, help me make it through this month." Sylvia made choices based on love. She lived in a neighborhood that was a bit too expensive for her. But she chose it for one reason. It was safe for her children. As she buckled them into their car seats that evening, her 5-year-old daughter, Luna, asked the question that was weighing on Sylvia's heart. "Mama, will Santa come here?" It was a simple question, but it carried the weight of the world. Sylvia had to pause, dig deep for a faith she could barely feel, and then she smiled. "Yes, Mia," she said, her voice filled with more conviction than she felt. "God always makes a way." Her faith wasn't a loud, declarative shout. It was quiet, resilient, and real. It was like the faith of the widow in the book of Mark, who gave her last 2 small coins, trusting that God would take care of the rest. Sylvia's faith was a quiet trust in the face of impossible circumstances. It was the belief that even when she couldn't see the path forward, God was already clearing the way. Her trust wasn't in her bank account or her circumstances. It was in the character of a God who promises to be a father to the fatherless and a defender of widows. As she drove, the dashboard glowed with a warning light she couldn't ignore. The gas tank was nearly empty. She reached for the last bit of cash she had, money she had painstakingly set aside for that threatening electric bill. Her hand trembled as she made a difficult choice. She had to use some of it for gas. She had to keep moving, to keep working, to provide. Sometimes faith isn't a triumphant shout from a mountaintop. Sometimes faith is a desperate whisper in the dark that says, "God, I don't understand this, but I trust you anyway." As she pumped the gas, watching the numbers climb, she was pouring out her own version of the widow's mighty, money she couldn't afford to lose. Offered up in an act of desperate trust. Then, a notification popped up on her food delivery app. An order from a place called La Casa del Mar, a fine dining restaurant, the kind of place she could only dream of. When she arrived, she pulled into the drive-thru, hoping to be quick. She couldn't leave her children alone in the car. "These." The cashier initially told her she had to come inside, but Sylvia pleaded, "Please, I can't leave them alone." Seeing the sleeping children shivering under their blankets, the cashier's expression softened. He disappeared and returned with a large, steaming bag of food. The aroma filled the car, a scent of luxury and comfort that was so far from their reality. But just as relief began to set in, Sylvia looked at her app. Her heart sank. The order. It had vanished from her screen. A glitch. A technical error. And now, she was sitting in her car, with a very expensive meal she couldn't pay for and couldn't deliver. Her children stirred, sniffing the air. They were hungry. But it wasn't her own hunger that twisted Sylvia's stomach into a knot. It was guilt. Honesty is not always easy. Integrity has a cost. Obedience to that. Still, Small voice often requires a sacrifice. She could have kept the food. Who would have known? No one but her. But she knew that her small act of obedience, her choice for integrity, mattered to God. With a heavy heart, she called customer support. She explained the situation, her voice trembling, expecting the worst. But the voice on the other end of the line was kind. "Thank you for being honest," the support rep said. "Please, go ahead and deliver the order to the customer. You'll still be paid in full." Relief washed over her like a warm wave, a small affirmation that doing the right thing was, in fact, the right thing. She found the customer's house, a beautiful home decorated with twinkling Christmas lights. She placed the food on the porch and turned to leave, her job now done. But just as she reached her car, the front door opened. A woman stepped out and called to her, "Wait! Thank you so much. Merry Christmas." Sylvia managed a tired smile and wished her a Merry Christmas in return. "Hold on," the woman said. "You dropped this." She handed Sylvia a plain white envelope. Confused, Sylvia took it and returned to her car. Back in the driver's seat, she opened it. Inside, she found a handwritten note. The words seemed to leap off the page and speak directly to her soul. "God sees your sacrifice. Don't give up." Tucked inside the note was a $200 gift card to that same fine dining restaurant. And folded neatly behind it was $100 in cash, enough to pay the electric bill and more. Sylvia gasped, her hand flying to her mouth as tears she had been holding back for so long finally began to fall. They weren't tears of sorrow anymore, but tears of overwhelming, unbelievable gratitude. Her daughter, Luna, saw her crying and asked, "Mummy, what is it?" Sylvia turned to her children, her face illuminated by the dashboard lights, her tears shining like their own little Christmas lights. "We're going out to eat for Christmas, Mia," she said, her voice breaking with joy. God provided. This story is a beautiful reminder of Philippians 4:19. "And my God will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus." God sees the single mother struggling to make ends meet. He sees the parent working multiple jobs, trying to give their kids a good life. He sees the one who feels invisible, doing their absolute best with the little they have. He sees you. Psalms 34:18 tells us, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those crushed in spirit." No act of obedience, no matter how small, goes unnoticed by God. This Christmas, maybe it's time to believe again, to hope again, to trust again. A miracle, just like Sylvia's, may already be on its way. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more messages of faith and hope. We'll see you in the next video.